If you found us from an online search, you came to the right place. Please give us 2 minutes to explain why.
Let's assume, for example, someone has never been in touch with non-fiction books, but they want to start a business or they want to grow in their personal life, but they don't know where to start. That's where Blinkist comes into play and says, look, it's an easy start into the non-fiction book world. It's an easy start into learning. Blinkist is an app that helps people learn. So what we do is we take the key messages from non-fiction books and we put them together in text and audio so you can read it and you can listen to the key messages, and therefore we make the content from non-fiction accessible. There's business books and marketing books, but also parenting, self-help, personal development, relationships, psychology books about investment and finances, really anything you can think of that's non-fiction. The company Blinkist consists of more than 140 people from more than 40 different nationalities, so we're highly international and multicultural, which is beautiful and it makes it really fun to work here. It's very healthy working here. And then also from the company side, we get like a lot of great benefits. We have a canteen that's outstanding, like the food is so good. We also have flexible working hours here, which is really great for people who, I don't know, just want to live their own lifestyle, right? Or people who are parents. We can work remotely. It's not usual for people to wake up and think, oh, I want to go to work every single day. But that's the case for Blinkist. People wake up and they are looking forward to going to work and doing their job. We really believe in our product. So it's not only just a tech startup that does the job. We care about each other. Berlin always used to be, and still is, very, very open. You know, you come here and Berlin just takes you in. And I think that created a very rich, positive environment for startups. You really just find a lot of talent here. People who think outside the box, and that's really what you need to create a great product. People in Berlin really have high standards and high expectations. They don't want to work for just any random company, but they want to do something that they believe in. A lot of people who use our app, they are busy entrepreneurs or working moms, working dads, you know, like people with a really busy lifestyle, as we all have these days, right? And that's when Blinkist comes into play, because you can learn so much in only 15 to 20 minutes. And I think that's where the power of it lies, really.
Hi, I'm Emily.
My name's Chester.
The self-help category on Amazon.com has over 400,000 titles alone.
At Blinkist, we've read a ton of those books, and they've really helped us.
We picked 5 of the most important and actionable self-help titles to make a mini reading list just for you.
Let's start with Finding Your Element by the incredible Ken Robinson. This book will help you unlock your natural passions and creativity. If you're stuck in a rut, this book is for you.
Next, we have How Will You Measure Your Life by Clayton Christensen, James Allworth, and Karen Dillon. This is an important one for all you workaholics out there. It shows that if you want true happiness in life, then you need to put aside time to take care of your family and your personal life.
How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by the godfather of personal development, Dale Carnegie. It explains how we can alleviate worry and stress, giving us the space to properly enjoy our lives.
In 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do, mental health expert and psychotherapist Amy Morin gives practical tips on staying grounded and happy, despite what life may throw at you.
Finally, we have Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. The ability to control your own emotions and react appropriately to others' emotions is vital. However, most of us aren't very good at it. But luckily, this book has the answers.
To kickstart changing your life, check out these titles on Blinkist,
where you can read and listen to key ideas from non-fiction's best books in just 15 minutes.
Become a better, smarter, and healthier you in less time.
In-depth, unbiased look at Blinkist, the online book summary service. Our goal is to answer the most important question faced by anyone considering this app. Is it worth using Blinkist for more efficient reading? And if yes, how can you get the most out of it? Here's what we have in store for you. First, we'll take a quick tour of the app and its features. Next, we'll go over the main pros and cons of Blinkist. After that, we'll give some tips on how to use the app efficiently. Finally, we'll provide our verdict and find out whether Blinkist is worth your time and money. Speaking of which, at the end of the video, we'll also show you how to get a 30%, that's $24 discount on a new Blinkist subscription by using our special promo code. Stay tuned. The number of newly published books has been growing so rapidly in the last decades that some have called it a book explosion. With hundreds and thousands of fresh titles being written every year, how do you keep up with your constantly growing reading list? This is where Blinkist comes in. By offering easy-to-digest versions of popular books, it helps you better navigate the ever-expanding ocean of human knowledge. Each summary, or blink as they call it, is structured as a self-contained narrative that can be read or listened to in about 15 minutes. There are more than 2,500 blinks in the Blinkist library, and new titles are being added all the time. You can access blinks via a browser-based online service, a mobile app, or even by sending them to your Kindle. Of the above options, the one you'll probably be using most is of course the mobile app, while commuting, walking, or just waiting for a friend to show up in a cafe. The reading interface is minimalist and distraction-free. The only buttons visible are back, audio, and text size, and even they can be hidden by simply tapping the main text. Swiping right or left flips the page, and the green progress bar at the bottom of the screen unobtrusively indicates the current position in the blink. Having been testing Blinkist for more than 2 years, we can definitely conclude that one of the most useful features of this app is the audio versions of blinks. They allow ingesting book summaries while keeping your eyes and your hands free for other activities, ideal for walking, driving, jogging, hiking, or rock climbing if you're into that. Overall, audio quality is quite high, and the narrators have mostly non-irritating voices. This, by the way, actually helps with perception,
because you don't get bored listening to the same person every time you use the app.
The browser version of Blinkist is just as distraction-free and easy to use. However, in over 24 months of testing, we ended up using it much less often than the mobile app. The hands-free, wherever-you-go use just seems much more appealing. Blinkist is a so-called freemium service, which means there's both a free version and a paid one. The free version gives you access to one pre-selected blink per day. In other words, you don't get to decide which ones you can read. A subscription costs $12.99 per month, or $79.99 per year if you use annual billing. This can be reduced to $56 for the first year using our 30% discount, which we'll get to in a moment. All right, enough with the build-up. After becoming a subscriber, you'll be able to read any number of blinks anytime you like, as well as unlock the audio summaries we mentioned earlier. You'll be able to store the blinks locally on your mobile device and read them without an internet connection, which is useful for flights and other situations where you have low or no connectivity. All right, now that we've got an idea of what Blinkist is, let's look at the really neat things about it, as well as some of the things we thought could be improved. What comes next is based on our impressions from using the app over 24 months, as well as a comparative analysis against 5 competing services, including GetAbstract, InstaReader, Juicer, 12 Minutes, and SoundView. First, some rough edges that might require more work from the Blinkist team. Here we can mention occasional audio delays when transitioning from one part of a blink to the next on slower connections, the slightly varying sound quality, as well as the absence of an easy in-app sharing mechanism for recommending blinks to other Blinkist users. None of those is a party breaker, but it's still worth keeping in mind that the service isn't perfect and still has some areas for improvement. Apart from the technical items, some users feel it's quite easy to get lazy with Blinkist and stop reading books altogether. While summaries can be a great time saver, they're in no way a substitute for the good old-fashioned reading the entire book approach to learning. In order to avoid this pitfall, it often makes sense to combine Blinkist with full-length books, which we'll talk about in the next part of our review. As for the positive sides, it's not hard to come up with at least a dozen. Here we'll focus on the most significant benefits that can potentially affect your decision to use or not use the app. Pro number 1. Blinkist is the easiest way to get an overview of a book in the shortest possible amount of time. The minimalist interface eliminates all distractions, so you can focus on grasping the main idea of the book in under 15 minutes. Pro number 2. Blinkist has the least expensive subscription with audio summaries out of all similar services. As we mentioned earlier, audio blinks are by far the most useful feature of any book summary app, because they enable you to go through the blinks while doing other things, like walking or commuting. Pro number 3. The library of blinks is constantly growing, which guarantees that you'll never run out of interesting items to read or listen to. Pro number 4. Blinkist can serve as a great productivity tool for narrowing down your reading list and saving you money on book purchases. How exactly? Let's find out. There are several ways you can use Blinkist without giving up on books. Instead of switching to summaries altogether, try some of the following techniques. Pre-select books for your in-depth reading list. Blinks can allow you to filter out some of the titles that aren't going to be worth your while for various reasons. This can help save money and time as you narrow down your reading list and focus on the books which truly have value for you. Pre-scan books before you read them in full. You can get much more out of a book when you already have an idea about what the author is trying to say. Being familiar with how the book's structured also allows you to focus more on the details than on trying not to lose the overarching line of reasoning. Recap books that you've already read. This one's quite straightforward. Blinks can serve as an easy way to remind yourself about the main points of a book you've read a while ago, without having to sift through hundreds of pages for the author's main ideas. Quickly immerse yourself in a specific topic. Being familiar with the essence of well-known books can help you lead a more informed and fluid conversation, even on the topics that are outside of your familiar field. As an example, you might want to go through several popular books on time management or entrepreneurship before going to a job interview, a corporate event, or an investor pitch. As promised, before we continue to the verdict, here's a simple way of saving more than $20 on a first-time Blinkist subscription. Click on the link in the description to visit the respective section of our in-depth review. Or if you're already watching this video from within the review, just scroll down to the bonus section. Our promo code unlocks a 30% discount for new Blinkist subscriptions with annual billing cycles. Enjoy. Alright, let's wrap it up. Is Blinkist worth your money? Well, if you're interested in one or two particular summaries, definitely not. Just find them elsewhere and read them online. However, if you're an active learner, if you read a lot of books, or you'd like to read more, if you're interested in quickly expanding your perspectives on specific topics, then an equivalent of 1 or 2 takeaway coffees per month for a repository of condensed human knowledge might not be such a huge price to pay. Blinkist can fill your walks, runs, and commute time with 15-minute bursts of learning and thinking without keeping you glued to a screen. What else would you ask from a good productivity app?
For more information, please click the link below or give us a call.